People say technology is making us lonelier, but at the same time, we've never really been more connected. Which one is actually true? It depends on your specific situation. Overall, it's more about just what we've been seeing with technology. It's with like social media or digital media. It's kept to make us more engaged with how we approach the media. It may feel true because the technology might equal loneliness in a way, can feel true based on less face-to-face interactions and most people on phones in social settings. And it makes us wonder, like, is it like for instant gratification? Like those kinds of reasons. If you've ever encountered a friend who's like on their phone when you're trying to talk to them, you may find it pretty disrespectful in any social situation because it's like, is your checking your phone really that important? Like at the moment, like, wouldn't it be better if we just all talk together in a way? So it's like, you can be in a room full of people and still feel disconnected if everyone's on their phone. And we've all pretty much encountered some sort of situation in this digital age. So it really changed what it like looks like. Feels can feel more isolating in that sense, especially with all this technology that we've been consuming, especially among the youth. You will see plenty of people who are on social media often and maybe focusing on groups that are like anonymous. They have no clue who these people are. And they're just commenting them, or they're scrolling through a bunch of posts because they're curious about what's out there. So in that sense, that is true that technology does equal isolation, but there is also a case against the idea. Since we have this technology, you got like messaging, FaceTime, or other things, or online friendships. You might find some friends on like online gaming, or you can also find them on other social media platforms if you've been engaging with them for a while, or maybe have have the courage to tell them, about your private information, like, oh, this is my phone number, and maybe we should talk, and you got other communities, especially like Reddit or niche focused. You got like this whole community of followers that talk about like a specific thing, and many people can rely on tech for like innovation and more support based on online community, even though they've never met them before. So for a lot of people, technology is, you know, can prevent loneliness if we're against the idea that technology equals isolation. So this is another real issue I want to bring up too, surrounding like technology, especially with, the rise of AI, artificial intelligence, can also play a big role in how we may be less lonely because it's like, oh, we have something that we can treat as a friend. We call them just an AI companion. You know, it's not a real person. It has some things, it has some features. It could be like voice. If you want to talk things out, you have them in a way because like access also plays a big role in all of this. Like you could totally just use AI because of the technology you have. You just download ChatGPT or any other app, any other AI app that has a voice feature, and you can just talk about it like about anything, like literally anything to them. But and you can make this like deep connection with an AI companion, and that can also make people lonely, especially among younger people. It's because of how, and this could make them more isolated because they're less focused on community and more on technology that they already have. It's almost like that addiction of instant gratification because, if there's something special about AI, whether it's texting or getting some knowledge, and especially if it's like excessive hours, then that can really, really play a role in the perception of us feeling isolated. So it's like, so my core argument is just more interactions. It does not necessarily equal deeper relationships because if you look at it based on passive versus active use, it would be more like scrolling or which could lead to isolation and you got talking a lot instead of connection. So technology can increase interaction, but not necessarily connection. And this is the most exciting part of it. So like the most important part to bring up and why it may feel worse now. And it's just this whole constant exposure to others' lives, when we compare ourselves to others on social media, make us feel like we want to be more in our comfort zone and just make us feel frustrated because social media can be exposed. Yeah, that's also another thing that can make us feel isolated. And with all these higher expectations for social life, all the things makes you feel down about yourself because you're not in that situation. You don't have $1 million. You don't have a luxury house or a luxury car, and you feel like a failure because of exposure and because you already feel exposed. You've already seen it. It's not like you can just completely get it out of your brain. So, you're not experiencing just your own life, but you're constantly comparing it with someone else, and it can really be depressing if that's like a constant thing. If you follow a bunch of celebrities and see their kind of style and you're really, whether it's like a crush or someone you really really obsessed, like, maybe in the music industry or acting industry or fashion, whatever it is, they are going to post things like that. Like if especially if they have like a spouse and such a lifestyle, they want to show that image, not to show that they're powerful or anything, but because that's just their life. To conclude all of this, I want to say that technology doesn't automatically make people lonely, but it can change how the connections work. And if the connections aren't meaningful, it can still feel like something's missing. And I think, from any of your perspectives, another thing I want to bring up is it's just, if we are in a fast transformational world and technology can make things more complicated when you got so many things to do. I mean, I could go on and on forever, but I want to give you a little story more about me to make you understand more about how I may feel like technology is impacting my life. Just to give you kind of the whole story to share. So, for example, like I may have like a lot of passions to do, and I might tell myself like, "Oh, I want to do all this, but I have to use my computer." And it may not make me lonely, but it does make me feel less connected with friends in a way because I've been using all this tech stuff, you know, to focus on my YouTube channel or graphic design and at the end of the day, sometimes I feel like maybe it's better to just be more free, have more free time in a sense. And maybe I could spend time with friends even more and get more connected in person and not just. And I get it. There's no really true answer I have like for advice, like I'm not a therapist or any professional in that field, but I do want to say that, at the end of the day, you do you, and the lesson more is just to give you the curiosity and just a question, it's just something to ask yourself. Is technology impacting like your mental health and your connection with friendships? Because it definitely does with me. So does it do it to you too? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next week.